This is the exterior of the Tier 1 2x6 assembly, and what we're showing here is the structural sheathing. We've used 3/8 OSB sheathing for the structure. Outside of that, we have our Tyvek weather resistive barrier, so our WRB. The purpose of this Tyvek is to guide any water away that might have gotten behind the cladding here. And so when we're talking about guiding water away, part of that WRB is incorporating flashings and things like that to help guide that water away. So at the very bottom of this elevation, we can see that we have our WRB lapped over top of a metal flashing. So if any water does come, it flows down that WRB onto this flashing and is guided away from the building. Per code, we need some sort of flashing at any change of horizontal members. So if we switch from vinyl cladding to a smartboard trim, and then anywhere that this trim has a joint in the horizontal point, we have to have metal flashing to deal with any moisture that might gather there. So with this wall assembly, what we did for the window installation is I've used a sloped shim, or what I end up using is usually bevel siding, and we can install this on the sill of the window, so that creates an actual slope outwards. So if any moisture does get in here, it is guided out of the window rough opening towards the exterior, lapping down this WRB and out away from the building. With installing this slope sill here, we now have to do sloped shims at any point of structural requirement that is mandated by the window manufacturer. So that would come with the window schedule and whatnot. That would show you where you do have to have shims at any structural point within that window. For the sill pan of this window, we used blue skin bituminous membrane. And so what we did is first we have installed one piece that goes along the bottom that wraps down and up into the window sill. So then that wraps in down this sloped membrane over top of our WRB, and then that helps to guide any water away. In the corner, what we did is we made what we call butterfly corners. So then that gets installed right in this corner to make sure that this corner, because we have to cut this membrane that way and the lower membrane that way, then there can actually be a little hole there. So we installed this butterfly corner that takes that hole out of the equation there, and therefore no water can get behind this membrane here or behind this WRB, which can create issues down the road. And then we install one small piece that goes up the side, which then we cut that way, and it wraps just slightly down the bottom a little bit and up the side to make sure that we maintain that water control layer in the sill of our window. With connecting the WRB to the window, there's a few different options. We just used sheathing tape that installs from this Tyvek WRB and gets taped to the window flange. So this would get taped on the top sides, but it doesn't get taped on the bottom because we want to leave this bottom open to allow for drainage if any moisture does get in behind there. Here we have installed 2 layers of flashing, like we said, at each horizontal change. So this is a reverse flashing, and so what that does is it actually reverse as normal. This flashing, the back goes up, whereas this one, it goes down. So if any moisture gets in behind or under here, it is still guided down and towards this flashing below and away from the building. Over here we have just an example of how we can detail, say, a hood fan or a dryer vent. So what we've done is we've attached the dryer vent to smartboard trim, and then we've installed our flashings where we need it at the top and the bottom, and then this just gets screwed to that trim, and then around the perimeter of this hood fan gets actually caulked to make sure that that stays nice and watertight there. So.